What's up, folks? Welcome to the latest episode, latest edition, whatever you want to call it, of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, live from the virtual Heinz Field, aka the Steel Basement, aka in my home. How's everybody doing, man? I hope everybody is well. Good to see you guys and gals again tonight. And speaking of the gals, I definitely have an announcement to make in regards to when we may be seeing the ladies of Steeler Nation, when we will be doing that show. I have a proposed date. I've already had Debbie as well as Lanisha, and funny, Destiny, I was going to reach out to her today. She actually contacted me today to inquire. She had a good idea, and I will definitely mention it to you guys here on the show. But we're going to definitely make that happen. But you guys know how we always do, man. First and foremost, what I'm going to do is look right over here. I might actually do it on my phone because it's closer. And I don't have to, lean in to see what you guys are saying. But we're going to, read some of the early commenters, early names, and, give those shout outs. And then we'll keep it moving. And we'll get into the topic. So, yeah, let me actually pull it up on my phone, man. That might be a better idea. So it's right here in my face. All right. Let's get to the chat. Give me a second. Actually, that's not a good idea because it's behind. It would be behind because I would be watching the stream. So, just told myself, realized myself that wouldn't be smart. So let's go ahead and get into it, guys. Shout outs to the first commenter of the night, Steeler Nation 412. He says, best news of the week, Sim. Hey, man. Yeah, it is. And I think you're talking about the title, but yeah, we'll get into that in just a moment. Hold on, guys. I see some leakage here when it comes to my background. I don't know what was going on there. Let me refocus, guys. Make sure you guys can see my ugly mug up close and personal. All right. Let's get back to it, man. Slid Red or Slide Red. Why do I keep calling you Slid? I don't know. That's my fault. Darius Dill. Aaron Morris, Rajon 39, Big Dro. Hello, Miss Lanisha. How you doing this evening? Glad to see you. Hello, Miss Destiny. How you doing this evening? Glad to see you as well. And I will be addressing your email here shortly. It's funny that you reached out to me today when I told Lanisha, or I know I told Debbie, or I may told both of them that I was going to reach out to you, because the three of you so far have reached out to me, but we'll get into it here in just a moment. Who else? Hello, Kelly. Mr. ABS and Kelly. I don't know if that's boy or girl. One of my best friends, probably the best friend in the whole world, his name is Kelly. So, and I've known quite a few Kellys that are guys. That's a unisex name. So you let us know. If you're perhaps a lady of the chat, let us know. But if not, hello, Kelly. Good brother Kenyon in the building. Urban Precious, what? Metals Buyer. Okay, Urban Precious Metals Buyer. I like that. Charlie Brown, Wide Diggy, Jared Devil. Hello to Nightbot. I see Nightbot is in the chat. Who else we got in here? Keith, hello. Ron Simpson, Michael Garman, Asloff Plays. Who is this? Bebo Perono? Bebop Perono. I don't know. I could be pronouncing that completely wrong. Hello, Miss Debbie. How you doing this evening? Rel Fax. And hello, father-in-law Leonard. How you doing, sir? And I think we'll leave it right there, man. We'll leave it right there on father-in-law. All right. What do you guys want to get into, man? Hopefully you guys will give a few phone calls tonight because I don't have much. I have a little bit to talk about, but not much. Not a whole lot of stuff that affected the Steelers in terms of signings or anything like that. Some perspective things, Steven Nelson kind of explains what his release was all about, so we'll talk about that. Steelers did bring in safety Karl Joseph. As of now, no sign. And to my knowledge, he hasn't signed elsewhere. Maybe you guys can correct me on that. Hasn't signed elsewhere, so we'll see how that goes. But usually if they leave Pittsburgh, they're not coming back to Pittsburgh. That's just kind of how it's been with us. Steelers' first round pick will be from a pro day where Colbert and Tomlin attended. We'll talk about that. Might not necessarily mean that, but, as most of us would know, I think since 2010, the first round pick has always come from a guy that the Steelers had Colbert, Tomlin, or both were at the pro day. I know Kenyon has pointed out quite a few times that there's been other guys that we didn't even know we were scouting, Juju being one, but these guys aren't first rounders. So I'm only talking about first round. The Steelers rarely have done that where neither Tomlin or Colbert was at the pro day. And usually a Power 5 conference, so we got to kind of pay attention to some of the teams that, they've already looked at. Who else we got here? And then we got Sam Darnold. We'll talk about Sam Darnold being traded to the Carolina Panthers. I know some of you Steelers fans were hoping that he would come to Pittsburgh, but maybe we could talk about that as well. But anyway, let's get into it, man. First, let me address the ladies of the chat, the lovely ladies. Thank you to Debbie, thank you to Lanisha, and thank you to Destiny, who did actually reach out via email. Debbie asked if I could share you guys' emails with her, and Lanisha said, of course, and then Destiny hit me up today and say, hey, why don't you, communicate via email with all of us? I think that's great. So I think what I will do, now that I have everyone's email, I will send just a quick email to the three of you and whoever else is listening. I don't know if Odessa is here tonight. Odessa, if you hear this, Sade, if you hear this, or any other lady of the chat, please let me know. Send me an email because it would be best to get all of you on an email chain so you all can link up together, kind of communicate. And, y'all may just want to talk and chop it up with each other before the show happens. But please do that because right now I'm definitely going to send that information to both Debbie, well, the three of them, Debbie, Lanisha, and Destiny. I have three of you. That's great. I would love to have more, but I wanted to at least have three of you. For those of you that may be listening for the first time, what we plan to do and the proposed date will be the 20th. I think Debbie says she's good with that. Excuse me. Lanisha gave me quite a few dates, so thank you for that. And the 20th was one of those dates. So Destiny, hopefully you can make that. I was going to try to do it next week, but, me and Kenyon, we both are Aries guys. His birthday on the 13th, mine on the 15th. So it's only right that we do a steel table. An Aries steel table. And of course, Tony, you're welcome to join next week. So we'll do that. And that's going to be perfect timing, man. You guys don't have to just listen to me because we'll do that next week. Then the week after that, we'll have on Debbie and the ladies, Lanisha and Destiny and whoever else decides to join in. And then maybe the following week, maybe we do another steel table. Maybe not, but we at least will do a steel table during the draft. So, boom. There you have it. So you guys will have at least basically 2 weeks in concession where it's going to be more of a discussion going on. So I'm getting excited for that, man. I think those are going to be some great and wonderful shows. Let's see. So again, for anyone else who's listening, the email address is just like my name here on YouTube. It's SimFBallCritic. SimFBallCritic@gmail.com. Shoot me the email. I'll shoot a blast email to all of you so you lovely ladies can, get together and, y'all can kind of dictate what y'all want to talk about. Because, again, I'm only going to just be the host there. The floor will be you all's. Maybe I will kind of moderate and throw you a topic here or a topic there. But please, you're welcome to tell me what you prefer to talk about. Because, Lanisha mentioned a couple things that she might want to get into. So if y'all want to do that, if y'all want to get together and say, hey, Sim, this is what we want to talk about, floor is yours. The floor is yours. I just want your voices to be heard. All right, so the next thing, let's see what we got here. Y'all want to talk Sam Darnold? Let's talk Sam Darnold, right? Let's get him on out the way. Here's the interesting thing, folks. This is what I don't know. Maybe somebody in the chat can tell me what his cap hit was. What is his cap hit for this season? Does anybody know that? I didn't look into that because, again, I'm not that technical with it. Y'all know we're more of an average fan perspective. I don't have the time to do all that type of research. But if anybody can tell me, do you know what Darnold's cap hit would have been this year? And without even knowing that, I knew the Steelers were not going to be in play for that. And one moment, guys. I'm going to go ahead, close the door, buddy. My son is coming in from playing outside, him and his friends, and they wanted to see what was going on. You want to say hello real quick?
Heck you doing?
All right.
Wait, let me say something.
No. That's enough. Okay, hold on. He wants to say something else, guys.
You guys always should subscribe because this is the best channel on YouTube.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
See you later. So yeah, man, just to give you guys some backstory, you know, I usually have him come inside, you know, there's a few friends that he plays with outside, but I told him he could stay out tonight as long as he's a little quiet when he comes in, but I knew that wasn't going to happen. So there's his cameo. And Leonard knows, because literally Leonard could look at him from out his window in the backyard because he lives right over there. But anyway, let's get to it, man. Okay, so Kenyon says 4.7. 4.7. Okay. Not impossible. Steelers may have been able to make that happen. Do maybe one or two more restructures if possible, because you still would expect, you know, Stephon Tuitt and Boswell, a couple guys like that the Steelers are still going to have to try to find some money. However, I just didn't think that was going to happen. You know, with Ben Roethlisberger. Listen, here's the thing. Yes, Ben Roethlisberger doesn't make the full decision, right? We all saw how Ben felt when they drafted Mason Rudolph. He was more so, how does that help us now? You can only imagine that Ben is probably along those lines right now. He knows he has 1 year left. He has to understand that we have to find his replacement. But, you know, does it make sense for them to trade Sam Darnold, who's going to sit down, and maybe you pick up his 5th-year option? I just don't think we had the money to do that this time. Maybe they could have found a way to make it work, but I'm not so upset about that. Besides the fact that, I mean, you know, it's Sam Darnold. I mean, he's been decent, but it's not like he's a must-have type of guy. You know what I mean? It's not like he was a must-have type of quarterback, so I'm not mad at that. But again, as a guy, a fan, whatever you want to call me, that really pay attention, I didn't think the Steelers would be in that mix anyway. A lot of times we just throw things out there as fans, and I know because it's from our heart, right? And I'm always going to say we. Even if I don't do what you do, I'm going to say we because we're all a family. But we usually go with our heart. We don't always go with the business side of it, the analytics side. You know what I mean? So I knew Sam Darnold was not coming to the Steelers. However, for what they gave up, man, if you were wanting Sam Darnold to come, I can understand your grief. I get it. They didn't have to give up much. And like I said, as far as the money, there may have been a way to find that money. But again, I just don't think that was priority. I have to believe in Kevin Colbert when they feel like they still, you know, there's still some Mason Rudolph there that they want to still look at. We know that's the case. I have to believe them when they said that they think they might be able to get some talent out of Dwayne Haskins. And, you know, there it is. You know, so that's just how I look at that. I wouldn't be too upset about that because I didn't expect it anyway. Let me see what a couple of you guys are saying really quick. Oh, somebody talking about trading for Trey Lance. Let me read Darius' deal. Darius says, Sam Darnold is solid. He was just in a bad situation. He can make those Pat Mahomes throws. He's going to show out, mark my words. Yeah, listen, I'm not saying that Sam Darnold isn't a good quarterback. You know, me of all people, y'all know I give quarterbacks a chance. I've seen Sam Darnold do some good things when he was with the Jets, and I've seen some bad things when he was with the Jets. Some him, some his team. But I just don't think that was the guy. You know, I just don't think that was the guy that you had to go out and do right at this moment and trade. You know, I just didn't think the Steelers was going to do it, and we see that that's a true statement. So that's all. That's all. I have no beef with Sam Darnold. Let's see what else we want to get to really quick before we dive into Najee. Let's talk a little bit about Steven Nelson, man. I thought it was great that Steven Nelson kind of explained himself, and what I will actually do. Give me a hot second here, guys. I'm going to pull up what he actually said, and I'll read it to you. I will read it to you out loud. Y'all remember when you was in school and teacher used to always say, who wants to read out loud? And you try to keep your hand down so they wouldn't call you. Let's see. And it's funny because I've never cared about reading out loud, but for whatever reason in school, you just didn't want to read, right? All right, so here it is, guys, and this is supposedly quoted by Steven Nelson. He says, "What really happened was, I felt, and also my agent felt, that we were due an extension due to the fact that I've outplayed my current contract with the past 2 years. Given where the current corner market is, so there were a lot of high cap numbers on the team going into the offseason. Everybody can put 2 and 2 together. Somebody like myself in my prime would have thought to help that situation, an extension would at least be a front of the line for the discussion, would have at least been at the front of the line for a discussion." He says, "Clearly it didn't go that way for whatever reason. The Steelers wanted to move in a different direction and thought I was expendable in my prime via trade. So it either came down to being traded or being released." And let me pick back up here. He says, "And just to make it clear," what did he say? Hold on. Oh, okay, here you go. "And just to make it clear, to those out there who might not know, or assuming that there was never a discussion with me being able to take a pay cut, I was never given that opportunity to take a pay cut. So it was either a trade or a release." And I think there's more here. Let me find the rest of what he said. Here we go. He says, "For me, it's just a patience thing." Oh, hold on. I skipped some. 1 second, guys. Let me find. He said he made it clear that he has no ill will towards the Steelers. He understands it's a business decision, but he affirmed that his belief was he was a cap victim. And now his focus shifts to finding a new home. And there it is. But I'm going to give my thoughts on that. If it came down to just the business decision, I'm going to take it from a business standpoint first. From a GM standpoint. So we had to do something with the cap, right? If we can trade you, we get something in return. So automatically that sounds like the best idea. What's interesting is how fast that seemed to happen. It seemed like it happened all in one day. Am I right? Or within a day or two. There was talk of a potential trade, and then he made a comment on Twitter. The next thing you know, he's released. But if this is what he's saying, let's play it from this perspective. Maybe he's saying all the right things because he doesn't want to look bad in the eyes of the public, not meaning us, but meaning another team. I don't know. But if the man is saying that he doesn't have any ill will towards him, he understands it was a business decision, that's probably what it was. But here's the other flip side to that. It makes sense that you want to trade him because he's probably the more tradable because he's more so in his prime. He's younger than Joe Hayden. They're making roughly the same money. I think Joe Hayden might have been making a touch more yearly average or something like that, but I know they're very close, and I could have that wrong. Nelson could be the higher one, but I think Hayden's contract was a little higher. But here's the thing that's crazy. If it was just, as I'm saying that, I just had another thought. Okay, you know what? I just had another thought. I think that was the best way to approach it. From a young man standpoint, a younger person, you would think you keep Nelson, right? But clearly, I think the Steelers know that they have a lot of holes to fill, and maybe they were looking to get more draft capital by trading. I think we're going into this draft with 8 picks, so maybe that was the intention. You can trade Steven Nelson. You figured his value was there, and you get some picks for him. That makes sense. Because otherwise, the only thing else you could have done is you would have kept Steven Nelson and just let Joe Hayden go. So the fact that they didn't do that, I hope the decision was what I just said. We know we got to let one of these guys go. Let's see if we can get something for him. And then I don't know why the final decision came down to if you're going to do a cut, you let him go versus Hayden. That's the only thing that's having me kind of hold on and tug at my own point. Because if it came down to a point where, okay, we can't trade and you got to decide which one of these guys, if you're cutting, I feel like maybe Hayden was the cut. But again, I'm going to go back to my original point I made, a week or two ago. Hayden is a locker room guy. Hayden is seen as a leader. Hayden has, you know what I mean? He's more one of those guys because you lost a few of those guys. So maybe that went into the reason why you keep Hayden. But it is interesting, given the fact that you can kind of look at Joe Hayden right now as a year-to-year type of guy, already being over 30 years old, playing the cornerback position. It's possible this is his last year. So I don't know. But again, I have to trust the team. That's one thing I always try to remember and try to at least not influence you guys, but at least, help you to see it from the other side. We have to believe in the team. I know we can argue and, disagree with what they do, but you gotta, you have to trust the process. If you're a fan, you have to trust that the team knows best, I guess. But it's kind of hard now hearing that Steven Nelson saying that there was never an opportunity to even restructure. It just makes me wonder. It makes me wonder what really led to that release. Like I said, I can understand the business side of trading, getting something for him. You add more draft capital. But if it ended up being a situation where you have to release anyway, I don't know. But let me look at the comments, guys. This is something new I'm going to start doing, man, is, after I speak about something, I'll read a few comments. And instead of waiting until it completely at the end of the show, you guys let me know how y'all prefer that, how you like that format. Let's see what you guys have to say. Jacob Bellinger says, Nelson deal might be more cut friendly. Yeah, that's possible. Sippy Boy says, I read Nelson felt that he had outplayed his contract. Yeah, I read that a few minutes ago. Let's see. Anything else on Nelson before I move on? Mr. ABS said, I had brought up a while ago that comparing the stats, Nelson gave up more yards than Yak. I think it was like 700 plus yards and 300 Yak for Nelson and 500 yards and 100 Yak for Hayden. Hayden is better tackler. Yeah, and that, you know what? We could definitely say that. Joe Hayden had a better season than Steven Nelson last year. I don't think it's hard to say that. It's not. 2019, I think Steven Nelson was the best cornerback on the team. I think he had a worse season in 2020. Not saying he was horrible, not saying he didn't play good, but I think he didn't have as good a season as he had in 2019. And arguably, you could definitely say Joe Hayden had a better season. So there it is. Maybe that's the reason why. Let's see. What else I have on the docket? Karl Joseph. Now, was I correct in that, guy? Somebody help me out in the chat. I don't think Karl Joseph has signed anywhere else. But not just the fact that they brought him in, it does make me wonder what the Steelers' plans are at safety. Okay? Even though this guy doesn't get a lot of playing time, he has had some playing time, but Jordan Dangerfield, still free agent. We haven't re-signed him yet. And usually he's one of those guys you get done pretty well because he knows his role, right? You usually get him really cheap. He knows what he's been since he's been in the NFL. He's never going to be that guy that's on the field. He's a special teams demon, yada, yada, yada. But he is a depth piece, right? Haven't brought him back yet. There's not a whole lot behind that. You got Marcus Allen, who's now been pretty much converted to a linebacker. Of course, we got Minka. Of course, you got Terrell Edmonds, but it's not a whole lot behind those guys. So seeing that they, brought in a guy like Karl Joseph makes me think that they're probably going to be looking for another safety. We do have Antoine Brooks Jr., man, but we have to, you got to look at that as a let's see what happens type of thing, right? Because he didn't get a whole lot of playing time. And he was, rookie last year. We'll see. Maybe he could perk up this year and prove himself because I still believe in him. I still believe he can play the role that I believe we drafted him for, but we got to see it. So hopefully preseason will show us that this year, and we'll be able to see these guys in action in the NFL, and we don't have to rely on their college tape. You know what I mean? But it makes me wonder if the Steelers will be looking to add some safety depth in free agency, via like Karl Joseph or somebody else. I don't know who's out there, or the draft. I did hear that, my distant cousin, Javon Holland, says he has talked to the Steelers. That would be great. I don't think it's going to happen. But that would be outstanding if somehow, we would be able to get him. But just makes me wonder. Just makes me wonder what the Steelers, what their plan is going forward at that safety position. So, I haven't really looked at a lot of safeties, man, so far. I've really been focusing more on the guys that, again, along that pro day circuit, because I've really just been looking at first rounders. Now I'm going to start doing maybe some second round type viewing. But then y'all know my process. Normally I get really into my scouting bag after we draft these guys, and I go in and I say, okay, this is where I think this guy can help us. But we shall see. We shall see. Now, the last thing I need to talk about, and then we can open it up to the phone calls, man. Let's talk about those pro days a little bit, and I'll just rattle them off. Just a few. You guys can check the Google and all of that. The Google. Why did I say it like that? But you can check Google and all of that, man, and figure out where Tomlin and Colbert were. But we know they were at Notre Dame, Michigan, I believe, Florida State, Clemson, excuse me, and Alabama. And there's a couple others in there. I know I'm forgetting a few, and we all know, listen, if you are still a fan, it goes without saying that most of the time, at least since 2010, I believe, the Steelers' first round pick. Now, remember what I'm saying, just first. I'm not talking about last year and we got Claypool, even though it's Notre Dame. That's another school where they were at, right? I'm not talking about him. I'm not talking about Deontay Johnson. None of these guys when we didn't have a first round pick and the second round guy was essentially our first pick. No, I'm specifically talking about first round within the first 32. Since 2010, the number one pick from the Pittsburgh Steelers in the first round has been a guy that Mike Tomlin and Kevin Colbert was at the pro day. If not both of them, one of them. So that kind of narrows it down. I think it's going to be Najee Harris, man. I still think that's who it's going to be. And it hurts me to my heart that my man Javonte Williams, it looks like he's getting further and further away from being a Steeler. Only because the running backs coach was at the pro day. And again, none of this stuff is written in stone, guys. We said this hasn't happened since. That doesn't mean it won't happen. Just like when we traded up for Devin Bush, it doesn't mean that it won't happen, but you have to kind of rely on historical data to kind of understand what your team normally does. I can't talk tonight, right? I'm saying words out of context. What they normally do. I said normally do's. Jesus. What they normally do. You have to consider what they normally do. Now, if they surprise us, great. Remember when we went up to get Devin Bush and most people were saying they're not going to do that? But wasn't we all like, whoa, and you was excited. So if we're wrong, we're wrong. But historically, you have to go with the nature of the company, of the organization, their MO. This is normally how they do things, so you have to kind of look at that. But those are some interesting players, man, because now you still have that question of who is it going to be? Running back? Offensive lineman? Inside linebacker? Cornerback? Perhaps. Because I think they went to Georgia's pro day too. I'm just saying. All roads are seeming like they're pointing towards Najee Harris. I mean, now he's coming out and he's openly saying that the Zoom call with the Steelers was one of the coolest one that he had. And you just keep hearing more and more about the conversations that Najee, let me correct myself there. And shout outs to you, Najee Harris. I apologize as well because I've been doing it here on the show tonight. I love when he did his interview and he said, forgot who it was somebody from NFL Network, I think, was interviewing him, and he was saying, what is one of your pet peeves or something of that effect. I know I'm butchering the way he asked the question, but he basically said, I just want people to get my name right. And he broke it down so beautifully. He was like, it's not Najee. It's Najee. He said, my name is spelled Najee. 2 E's together is E. It's Najee. So let me from now on say your name correctly. Again, I act as if everybody's going to see this video. So I'm acting like Najee Harris will see this video. My bad. I will definitely say your name correctly going forward. So it's Najee. For anyone that doesn't know, again, his name is spelled Najee. Najee Harris. So anyway, we keep hearing that it's just so much is coming out of that. So many rumors and speculation, and we know how this goes. Most of the time, man, when you watch the draft, there's a few shakeups here and there, but most of the time, it goes in order. The teams know. The Steelers kind of know who the Ravens are interested in and who the Bengals are interested in and who Miami is interested in. They know who San Fran. Trust me. They might not know 100%, but they have people that talk. They have scouts that go here. They have personnel that goes there. They kind of know how it's trending. That's the reason why trades get made. That's the reason why the Falcons are coming out now saying, well, we kind of know what the order of the first three, and we're willing to, to go ahead and go back a little bit. Because you can kind of predict what's going to happen now. You kind of know now who the Jets are going to take. You probably would think it's probably going to be Zach Taylor, right? Now, the shakeups could be there. It could be Fields over Taylor or Taylor over Fields or Mac Jones over both. You never know, but for the most part, you know where Sewell is going. You kind of know where some of these guys are going. So I think the Steelers right now, in my opinion, it's running back probably first, unless that premier offensive lineman is there. If old boy from Notre Dame is sitting right there, maybe. Maybe you go tackle if one of the top dudes are there, but they're saying that the tackle class is deep. I honestly will tell you, I haven't watched many tackles. I've only watched about 2 of them. I've watched a few guards, but I've been looking at centers. They say the tackle class is deep, so maybe the Steelers are thinking, let's get our premier running back first, and then we go get the offensive lineman. Or, which I have no problem with this either, we go O-lineman first. Maybe we go a little defense or so in the second, and then in the third, we swoop in and get Trey Sermon. Let me tell you something. I love Trey Sermon too. Trey Sermon is my Javonte Williams B. And this is what I'm saying. I want Javonte Williams. I love that dude. Y'all know I've said that here plenty of times. I love his demeanor, the way he runs, the way he finishes. You ain't bringing him down. You just see it. And again, for those of us who played football, and me even particularly playing the position, I can recognize this stuff. And some of those dudes will always just gravitate. Like a Marshawn Lynch. Nobody's ever going to say Marshawn Lynch was the best running back in the world, but that boy he just had that demeanor. What was my man that used to play for Dallas? Barber. Can't remember his first name now for someone. I can't remember his first name, but y'all know who I'm talking about. Boy ran hard. Like, it's certain dudes like that you like. I like that guy. I like the way Nick Chubb. I love the way Nick Chubb runs the football. And I think Javonte Williams could definitely be that. Right? But right there with him, if you want to call it a quote-unquote lesser version, is Trey Sermon. Trey Sermon, a bad boy. Go watch his tape. And I'm not talking about just watching the big time games. Go watch him. So if the Steelers want to go that route, I'm all for it. Because I'm pretty sure you can get Trey Sermon in the third, or even if you don't want to take a chance, you want to get him earlier, he'll be there in a second. So that's how I'm kind of feeling about that, man. I don't know if Javonte Williams makes it. And that's the crazy thing. I don't know if Williams makes it to the second round, so it's tricky. It will be interesting to see what happens, though, if Najee Harris is not available for the Steelers at 24. That's going to be interesting, because then I mean, we got to start talking about other guys. I know a lot of us, Kenyon, Tony, myself, we love Zaven, but we have to, again, won't no Colbert and won't no Tomlin at that pro day. And again, it doesn't mean that it can't happen. I'm just saying it doesn't make me gravitate towards him or Williams because I know usually in the Kevin Colbert era, they don't do that. So it kind of puts it dampens my expectations of saying, man, we might get Javonte early. Man, we might go after Collins because historically it just don't seem like they do that much. Now I would love to come back here or draft night when we doing the stream. I would love to be surprised. I really would love it, but I just don't have the expectations for those guys. Now that kid, oh man, out of Notre Dame, JOK, boy. That's a bad boy right there. That's a bad boy. I think he going very early, and his hit power. I got to watch a few more games from him, man. But here's the funny thing, and I know some of y'all gonna laugh at me. I didn't really know who he was. I had kind of heard of him, but watching the UNC game, and there was another game I watched. I watched two Notre Dame games, and I kept saying, yo, who's this number 6? That dude is special. What I noticed about him in the UNC game when I was watching Williams and Carter, they got him out in same thing I said about old boy once we drafted him, UG3. Man, they got my mans out there playing definitely keying on, receivers in the slot. Like, he's in coverage a lot. At least he was in the North Carolina game. And I'm like, wow. So that dude is all right, man. I plan to watch quite a few more games because I want to see, I like to watch a game with perhaps a lesser competition and real stiff competition. So I want to watch a few more games. But I'm liking what I'm seeing from him. I didn't really know much about him. Tony probably would because Tony is a Notre Dame fan. And for whatever reason, I don't see a lot of the Irish games much, so I didn't know too much about him. Again, I heard his name, but I didn't know he was like that until I started watching him. But then there's other people out there, man. I know they keep talking about the Browning kid, Baron Browning. They saying the Steelers are high on him. I mean, it's interesting. I don't know. I don't know what else, if Najee is not there. It's all open, guys. I'm telling you, it's open. Offensive line, inside linebacker, it's all open at that point. Because, again, one thing you can probably guarantee, there's going to be, at the very worst, Trey Sermon will be there at 55, I think, right? So, and even some people might say that's a little too rich, a little too early. They said the same thing about Pat Mahomes. Y'all remember that? And Andy Reid saw the vision. But if that's your guy, and he's sitting right there in the second round, because he's not going to be gone yet. It's very possible that ETN, Najee, Williams, Carter, a good amount of these guys, it's gonna be a solid running back in the second round, and I think Trey Sermon will be there waiting for you. I think even the third, but I'm just trying to paint all of the scenarios. If the Steelers want to go this direction, go that direction. But my heart is telling me that they're going to draft Najee. I've been saying that. Y'all saw me draft him in my Madden franchise. That's where they're going, man. You're just hearing too much conversation. Now, again, if he's not there at 24, then it's a whole nother conversation. And that's why what I'm going to definitely do is finish up my film watching. So by the time, we get back on here next week, I'm really going to hone in now on those particular pro days where Colbert and Tomlin were at. I've already watched a good amount of them. I watched Asante Samuel, all of these guys, but I'm really going to hone in on the position because, I like Myers. I like Myers a lot as center. I love Dickinson. He just has the injury history. But I'm telling you, Myers, man, watching Trey Sermon, and Kenyon even, was saying, make sure you look at Wyatt too, the guard on the right side. Man, these dudes be paving the way, bro. They paved the way. quite often I saw Myers beyond the line of scrimmage. And Dickerson and Kenyon asked me who you like better now after watching Myers. I'm like, I don't know. I like both of them. Dickerson, I will say, at first glance, Dickerson might have a little more dog in him, but Myers gets the job done, man. No doubt. And again, they were at that pro day. So it's a lot, Leckenberg, or Liam Eckenberg. They were at that pro day. It could go so many different directions. I don't really know what every team needs, but I know most people are saying, even Kenyon has been saying this for a while, Miami is probably the team that we need to pay attention to, because if the Dolphins could be the team that might swoop in and grab Najee. But where do they rank? Where do these other teams rank ETN? ETN might be the top dog. Miami might say, well, that's who we want. So, all in all, because I know I'm rambling now and I want to get to the phone calls, Najee Harris is there at 24. I think that's our pick. I really think that that's going to be our pick because, again, hearing that even Colbert has said they think the tackle class is deep and, no Villanueva has not been signed yet. I'm feeling like they probably think they can get offensive line help later because we've plugged some holes. I think they're going to do the reverse. They're going to get the running back first because those three guys are the premier guys. ETN, Harris, Williams. Those are your top three. I think the Steelers are looking at it right now. If ETN or Harris is at 24, they definitely go that direction. Then they come back and they start filling in, boom, we can plug and get this guy, plug and play center. Get this guy, boom, 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 maybe a tackle later. Then they're going to go defense. I think it's going to go that way. It could go the opposite way. They could feel like, well, Trey Sermon is sitting there. He'll be there later. Let's go offensive line first. We'll see, man. But, none of us know. They might shock us and they might draft a field goal kick in the first round. I don't know. Let me get to the calls, man. I know I've been rambling. We got 4 calls in the queue, guys, so y'all know the routine, man. Make it snappy, but get your point across, and I will keep my responses to you guys short as well. Let me pull everything up here and make sure the browser's on so everybody in the chat can hear. Yep, I think we good money. All right, first up, area code 651. What you got for us tonight?
Yo, just seeing how you doing, man.
Good. What's going on, man?
Not much, man. So listen to you talk about Harris. It seems like it took me back to that year when Lacy and Bell was up, and everybody wanted Lacy, and we took Bell, and most of the Steelers Nation was upset. But I didn't see nothing special until I saw Le'Veon Bell. You saw it, like you said, playing the position. You could see that instinct, the way they play. And I'm gonna go back to now. I don't see that in Harris. He's a big guy. He got a little speed to him, but I don't see special yet. I just don't. And we've been doing so well with middle round to late offensive linemen. I don't think we'll go there one either. I think, and one of the things that Steelers always do, they'll throw a linebacker out of nowhere. They love linebackers. They will grab one out of nowhere. So that's one of them. You look at Caleb Balaj, and I said this 2 weeks ago that I felt like he would be a good player to pick up. I said that
okay.
weeks ago.
It was you. I was trying to figure out who it was because I gave you credit last week. I said, man, I don't remember who said it, but one of you guys said he's sitting out there. We should get him. So I knew one of y'all had said that, man.
I think they brought him in because we like to go into the draft being able to take the best player available. He ain't just short yardage. They're going to give him a shot. And I think, at 25 with less hits on his body, he might be big, but, we still may take a running back. I would look at somebody like Andre Stevenson. I like how he moves. I like Williams. I like that instinct. So that's two things. And then one other thing about the Nelson and Hayden situation. One other reason I think they might have kept Hayden over him, if you go back to training camp, Hayden talked about TF a lot. And it was reported that he took him on his wings. It may be a development thing there where, like, hey, they got a rapport. They're good guys. They can both play on the outside. He likes them. He's been bringing them along. It might have been something to that actually took him over the top instead of Nelson. But that's all I got.
Man, what a great call right there, man. I appreciate that. I'm mad I don't have my round of applause ready to go for you, but that, because you put a lot of things in perspective, and let me be quick so we can get to the next calls. But what you said is absolutely right. We always got to keep that in mind. The Steelers, they could be, it appears this way, but then it's another way. Like he said, with the Le'Veon Bell situation, father-in-law Leonard is in here. He kept saying Lacy. I was like, nah, man, Bell, right? You got a point. I think Najee Harris is the real deal. But who have I been campaigning for? I like Williams. I'm telling y'all right now, if I was in the front office, right, and we're deciding we're going running back. Okay, these are the 3 guys on the board. I'm going with Williams. I'm telling you right now, if that's the decision by us, the organization, I would take Javonte Williams right now over Najee and Travis Etienne. That's just me, because I just see something in he pops. Like my man 651 said, he is special. Najee is great too. Don't get me wrong. But it's something that's different with that Williams kid, man, as far as he just pops. Every time, every film that I've watched, every game is. And again, I don't want to take anything away from Najee, but my man is right there. Everybody is cornering those guys as the top 2, and while you playing, Williams might be the best dude out the crop. So shout outs, man. Great call. Let's move on to the next one. We got still 4 calls in the queue. Let's get through these. Area code 803, Mr. Winningham. How you doing tonight, sir?
Good evening. Good evening. How's everything going?
Good, man. Really good.
Tonight, well, last year this time it would have been intriguing to find out what would we have done with a first round draft pick.
Oh, yeah.
Last year I had J.K. Dobbins all on my mind. I went to the store, came back, Chase Claypool. Well, who's Chase Claypool? I wanted J.K. Dobbins. We as the Pittsburgh Steelers might be throwing the scent off. Because we tend, and the Bengals and the Browns, we tend to try to up one another by stealing a guy who the other team really wants. It wouldn't be surprising that we go out and get defense, because outside of DeCastro, I think maybe Rashad Mendenhall was the last skilled offensive player that was chosen since Big Ben Roethlisberger. And that draft was a complete dud because we got Mendenhall and we got Lyman Swede. I don't even like saying his name. But I'll be very, very, don't be surprised that the Steelers get somebody that, hey, let me see, Baltimore or Cleveland would really cover it. And then I would like, if we do that, trade up in the second round and get one of those running backs. It's just something to think about. Thank you so much. I hope everybody has a great evening and a great week.
Man, thanks for calling. And yes, that's the thing. We got to look at it from all these different angles, man. You just never know what could happen. I got to read this comment really quick, then we'll get back to the calls, because Mr. ABS, you are 100% correct. And I see Kenyon already gave you the cosign by saying that's going to go over most people's heads. But listen to this. He says, honest question. What would Etienne, Harris, or Williams have done for our team last year with the piss-poor run blocking we had? Tough to value a first-round running back. Yes. Remember, first part of the season, we had a 100-yard rusher. 5 weeks in a row, I think it was. Both Benny Snell and James Conner. Meaning, they're serviceable backs. But what happened down the stretch? Remember all of the film study that we were doing here on Turbo Town Tuesday? And I was showing you how all of the members on the line at some point was in the backfield. Ain't nothing Etienne, Harris, or Williams could do with that. The only person that might be able to do something with that is, his name is Barry Sanders. But I'm just saying, man. So, yeah, but I like what my man just said there, man. Mr. Winningham, you never know, man. There's always that option to move in a later round. Move up, not later, but after the first. Move up in the second to go get you back. Move up in the third to go get Sermon. You know, I just can't wait to the draft. Let's keep it moving, guys. Area 614, what you got for us? Hello, 614. We got to skip you, 614. We can't hear you, buddy.
Hey, I just.
Oh, hold on. I'm coming back to you. There you go. What's going on?
Hello, I'm here.
Hey, what's going on, buddy? I gotta mute you. I'll come back to you, 614. But remember, when I come to you, make sure you cut off the background because that delay is gonna mess with you. It's gonna mess with us. But I'll come right back to you. So I'm gonna wait about 10 seconds. I'm gonna unmute you and come right back to you. $614, you there? $614, I don't know. I'll try you back again after I get through the other calls. But remember, you got to listen on the phone, not through the computer, because the computer is going to be delayed because it's a stream. On the phone, you'll be able to hear me in real time. Let's move on to the next caller, area code 202. What you got for us? And this is actually the first 202, so it's 202556. What you got for us?
Hey, what's up? What's up, Sim?
Hey, what's going on?
How you doing?
Good, man. How you doing?
I just wanted to. I'm doing good. You know, it's a really nice day, getting warmer. So hope everyone in Steelers Nation is doing good. In my call, I just wanted to, give my 2 cents on the running back. So I called to bring up like a similar point to the commenter who you highlighted when you were going through calls about like running backs. I was just gonna say, do people think if we had a top 5 running back last year that we would have won the Super Bowl or competed or been able to beat Kansas City? Because my answer would have been no. And then my second point with the running backs would be I really hope the Steelers use the pick to get a player who can be kind of like a building block. I personally don't view a running back as a building block because it's a lot of these dudes they're only going to be good, their primes are only going to last 3, 4, 5 years. You know what I mean? Look at Le'Veon Bell, Todd Gurley. Remember when David Johnson was just tearing the league up? You know what I mean? So it's I really hope they can get a player like a David DeCastro or TJ Watt, all these dudes who are going to be Steelers for 9, 10 years, as opposed to someone who's going to play 4 or 5, so that was my call. And like you were saying about JOK, I would love JOK, just the ability to cover, especially because the Steelers scheme, how they don't like to match out of 12 personnel, which drives everyone in the fan base crazy.
Right.
It's my main example is he would have been the perfect player because it's I know everyone remembers this in the past years. It's we had Robert Spillane on Jarvis Landry, but we had Joe Hayden guarding Austin Hooper, the tight. So we had the cornerback guarding the tight end, but we had our inside linebacker guarding the slot wide receiver. It absolutely makes no sense. But it's JOK is a dude who can actually cover. He's a great athlete. Like you said, he can hit. He's a very smart, cerebral player. He would be the perfect pick. So if he was there, I would hope it's him over running back at any cost. And that's all I wanted to say. And man, hope you take care and hope everyone in the Steelers Nation is doing well. Sorry, yeah.
Man, you too, man. Great call right there. Cause that's a value pick. And that's the thing. I hate to pick on this guy because I think he was an outstanding prospect. Saquon Barkley, man. I mean, of course, you can't never guess injuries, right? But it just goes to show you it's hard to value these guys. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to value these guys at number 1. It's hard. The last time we did it, he didn't really pan out. So it's very interesting. And I agree. I don't know if running back is really the building block. Especially, well, maybe in this instance. We don't know who our quarterback would be next year. So if you secure a running game, maybe you make it easier on the next quarterback. I mean, I know that's thinking long term, but essentially, I agree with what you said there, man. So great call. Now let's get to the next 202-569. What you got for us tonight?
Hey, what's up, Sam?
Hey, what's going on?
First time call. Huh? I'm calling from DC. So look, I like Najee Harris, and I like the kid. What's his name? Travis Etienne. However, for me, man, it's a dream pick for me to be Zayden Collins. After everything that I've seen on him and everything that I've been watching on this dude, man, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm not knocking Devin Bush, but if the Steelers with Keith Butler and the way he called plays, like the caller said before, you know, they take and put linebackers on receivers and whatnot. I don't know why we do that, but I guess that's just what we do. If you're gonna do that, then you might as well get a guy that's best. You know, you might as well get a guy that can, you know, that can do that. You know what I mean? Why put a liability out there when you can find someone that can do the job? And I think that he could play on the outside as well too.
Yeah.
I think he's like 6'4", 260. You know what I mean? So I don't know, man. But I wanted to say this too. I said in the comment section, I listen to Steelers Depot a lot, and I always hear Alex and Dave when they mention the questions that you had. Oh, I just wanted to mention that. No disrespect or anything. I just think it's kind of cool though. But I'm done. That's the only thing I had to say.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you calling, man. First time calling. Shouts out to DC. You know, you guys know, most of y'all know, you know, my home office is there, even though I work from home. But I used to go to DC once a week on Fridays. And before I lived in Pennsylvania, I lived in the Maryland, DC area. So shout outs to DC, man. Appreciate you being the first time caller. And yeah, that is kind of cool, man. I'm always giving Steelers Depot their props. So, you know, there's living proof right there, guys. I talk, you know, I do what I talk about. And I always say I give them a lot of props. I listen to a lot of their stuff because they do it full time. You know, I'm just an average guy, right? So it is kind of cool, man, that they, you know, I'm always sending them questions and they read it on air. And I talk to Alex a lot, man, on Twitter. So, yeah, shout outs to those fellas over there. And again, if you guys are Steelers fans and you're not following Steelers Depot, I don't know what to tell you. They are, to me, the most thorough Steelers outfit that you're going to find. From the wealth of stuff that they get into, from the pro days to when they used to be on scene, you know, on the scene with the Senior Bowl. And I mean, Alex, when he was always at Latrobe and just the cap stuff. So like my man Rough House Boxing would say, if you slipping or you're pimping, if you're not at least reading or listening to their podcast. So shout outs to those guys, man. Next up, we got area code 313. We have 3 remaining calls. So area 412 will be the last call because we're getting a little over in time here. But, you know, we got to get all the calls in, right? So next up, area 313. What you got for us?
Hey, what's going on tonight, Sam? Just giving you a call from the Detroit City, baby. This was my little take on what I'm looking at the draft. We must fix the offensive line.
Yeah.
That's one. And I think all the running backs, yes, you guys are correct. You, Kenyon, and them, I agree. I like Williams, Harris, ATM, even Trace Sermon, whoever. But the deepest thing in the draft is the offensive line. At this point, it's the Steelers' weakest point. We need to fix this first. It's some good draft picks. I've seen they looked at that boy Hudson from Cincinnati. He did pretty good at the Senior Bowl. I watched the practice and I watched the game. I also like the kid David Moore from Grambling State. He's almost just like what we got last year. We can get him in the middle rounds, and we can stabilize that the interior line where we can have those pulling linemen. We can get out there, which the offense that Canada like running. So if you look at those type of guys who they looking at, especially the offensive tackles, them 2 guys out of that Division II school or whatever, if I'm not mistaken, Spencer Brown, that 6'7" left tackle, and the kid also from North Dakota State to tackle. Those are some good athletic if we looking to replace Villanueva. So That's what I'm going to really focus on. If they fix that line, and then this will take all that pressure off Ben. We don't have to throw the ball 40 to 50 times. Then it becomes unpredictable. This is the football I think Mike Lim is trying to set up and get to. So, yes, that's what I'm going to focus on is who we draft in the lineman. And I also like the kid out of Wisconsin, Coldwater, whatever. Hey, he can move. I watched his tape. He gets downfield. They get to the second level. Them are the linemen that we should be looking for that the Steelers going to, I think, really pinpoint in the draft. But you guys have a blessed one. And, hey, go Steeler Nation, baby. Much love, guys.
Man, thanks for the call. Stay blessed as well, brother. Thanks for the call. And I want to comment go back really quick, too, before I forget, on what 202 said, the first time caller. Yes. Let me be brief on that. If Mike Tomlin and Kevin Colbert break the mold and they draft a guy in the first round that they did not attend his pro day, Zaven Collins is absolutely my pick. Listen, man, I love Devin Bush. I think Devin Bush is still going to be what Devin Bush can be. But a dude like Collins with that size, man. I mean, to me, I think he balances Devin Bush in the middle. Compensates more for where Devin Bush lacks size, and height. You understand what I'm saying? And they would complement each other, especially if Bush still has his speed. I would love that pairing. Man, yes, and yes. But yeah, like 3013 said, he's right. He's absolutely right. I mean, it seems like the Steelers are leaning heavy towards Najee. I mean, you listen to what AR2 had to say. Clearly, the Steelers are going to have to draft a running back and some offensive linemen. The order in which they do it is what I don't know. But we got to fix the line, man. We have to. No Filer, no Pouncey. And again, we weren't too happy with their performance. So imagine where we are now without them. No little Al Villanueva currently. He's still unsigned. We're going to have to address the offensive line. It's just the question is, are they going to do that first and then go running back? Or are they going to, shoot their gun early and grab the running back and then go offensive line? We shall see. All right, next call, and this might actually be the final one of the night. Area code 614. What you got for us?
Hey, first time caller here too. Hey, I wanted to shoot something across the bow, and I don't think most Steeler fans are thinking this. What if they trade 24th pick for an early second rounder, a third rounder, a fifth rounder, and then a first or second next year? Because we are in that sweet spot where there's going to be a lot of people that slide down into the high 20s, and some hungry team's going to come up and want to mortgage the future to get that person, and Pittsburgh's right in that sweet spot. That's all I got to say.
Man, great call and great point. And thank you for calling back. And I'm glad you were able to get on because, yeah, when you listen in, just make sure when you call, do like you just did, listen only on the phone, because if you listen to, wherever you're streaming the stream, it's going to be a delay. Great point. Now, here's the thing. I don't know if they would get that much. And I don't know if you meant all of those picks at once. Let me take the music out of my ears. But let's see, at 24, we are in a sweet spot, right? The Steelers have the opportunity right there. Maybe their guy isn't necessarily there, but they want to get him earlier in the second round. That's possible. You might be able to find a trade partner for that. And along with that second round, maybe it's a swap or maybe it's an additional second, right? I would think if you move out of 24, you're taking the second pick from the other team. So then we have 2 seconds. And then maybe you get maybe you leverage a fourth in there and maybe a fifth. So yeah, maybe you're able to get a second, a third maybe, and a fifth. So that would be great. But at least I think you get a second and a third. I just don't know if you would get the first for the following year. But who knows? There's a fool born every day, right? But yeah, I would be open to that because again, it all depends on what the Steelers' plan is. Remember, now we're in different territory, right? If they fall out of the first round, that whole being at their pro day, quote unquote, goes out the window, right? So imagine if they get an earlier second, my boy Javonte Williams sitting right there with a bow on, like he packaged up and sitting there ready for duty, sir, waiting. He's right there, right? Or who knows? Maybe Najee or one of these guys fall out of this first. I doubt it, but I'm just saying there's a lot of opportunity there in the second. There's a lot of guys that you probably can get in early second that might fall out of the first. And that includes offensive linemen. That includes defensive player. Because then you can afford to, allow a defensive guy to be your first pick, essentially, if you earn that pick from a trade. And then you come right back at 55 and you stick with your normal routine. I would be open to that as well. And it all depends on who's on the board. Because I think the common theme with somebody said earlier tonight, and I think we all agree with this, the Steelers are probably priming themselves to be in position to take what? The best possible player, right? We always say that, but it holds true a lot of times most of the time each year, right? They plug the holes with these veterans and things like that. And again, I have mixed feelings about the Kalen Ballage because I think it's a depth signing, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's a security blanket. Maybe it's a John Bostic situation, right? Excuse me. Maybe it's one of those. In case the guy's not there where we want him, we'll see what Kalen Ballage can do along with Benny Snell, along with Anthony McFarland. You never know. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing out all the possibilities. So I would be open if the guy that you want and you have valued at 24 is not there, you trade out and gain more picks, but you have to get more picks. You cannot lose that draft capital. You would have to at least get an early second, and then I would like to see a third and a fourth and a third and a fifth, something like that, so we can stay on schedule. Because I like where we're sitting at with 8 picks right now. I'm all open for getting more picks this year because we got a lot of holes to fill. So great point, great call there, man. So we'll wrap up the show, guys, here in the chat section. And I really appreciate a lot of you guys that called tonight for the first time. That lets me know, man, that I'm reaching more people, and that's what it's all about. Building that bigger Steeler family here, man, for the average fan, and we can get down and and talk some fan business, and no real structure, no made up stories and made up drama and all that. No, we just the average fans. That's all I am over here. Me and Kenyon and Tony and most of you guys in the chat. Yeah, we're just average day-to-day people. We still work, but we love our Steelers. And Kenyon and myself, just happen to be able to be those, I guess, mega fans, if you will, where we gravitate to a little bit of scouting. We gravitate to a little business, So there you have it. Let's see what y'all got, man. Real Fact says Spillane isn't a starter. Nice rotational piece, but no starter. Yeah, might have a good point there. Even though Spillane, man, he played fairly well for us, but I think I would agree with your assessment. Slide Red says, are you going to be live on draft night? I absolutely am. A lot of you guys know I do another stream on Thursdays, more of the gaming podcast, but I'm either going to postpone that, I have to discuss it with my co-host, or I will pick up after that show. That show usually runs from 8 to 10. We probably won't pick by then. So, but I might just start it at 8 o'clock and, we'll do this show instead of, I'll address that with him early. I'm sure he'll be fine with that, it's a draft night. And I plan to stream or do at least a follow-up stream for the other picks as well. Like I did in previous years, I usually come in and talk about each pick, and there you have it. But definitely that Thursday, we're going to be live. And I think I'm going to have Tony and Kenyon on if they are available so we can do it still table style. Steelers card says Steelers are one of the best, if not the best, drafting teams in the NFL. I don't know if I can disagree with that. And I'm not being biased. We've hit on a lot of draft picks. We've missed on some first rounders. But if you look overall, the Steelers do pretty good, especially in the wide receiver position. You know, and I think Kevin Dotson is gonna have us all saying that too, in years to come. That was a nice value pick. And, you know, we've missed on a couple cornerbacks. We all know we're not that great with the first-round cornerback, but, you know, you find T.J. Watt, you took a chance on him, and now look. You know, the Cam Haywoods of the world, you know, even the Lawrence Timmonses of the world, you know, if you just go back, we've done a fairly good job with that. John Gotti says, dude stuffed one of the best running backs in the league, got hurt doing it. Spillane is what a steel curtain is all about. Absolutely. Absolutely. When he stood up Derrick Henry at like the 2-yard line or whatever that was, that right there showed me what type of man he was. He's a man. You know what I mean? He can play on my team any day. Because I didn't know much about him either until he started playing. And you know, he does cover fairly decent. So, you know, I'm not down on Spillane, but maybe he's not the starter that we're used to. But he did fairly well, man. He exceeded the expectations that I had for him. So I'm not ready to just throw him out the window. But if Collins, I mean, come on, man. Come on, buddy. if we draft Collins, Spillane gonna just have to take a seat. Yeah, I'm just saying. Come on. Let's see what else we got, guys. I'll spend a few more minutes here with you guys. A little more time. Charlie Brown says, "You right. I'm not saying he's terrible. I'm saying sideline to sideline, he's getting you killed and down the field." Yeah. I think you're still talking about Spillane. Yep. You right. But he is a tough dude, man. I really appreciate that from him. All sports all the time. I like that name. He says, when we didn't have Spillane, we were wishing for Spillane. You right. And I bust out laughing there. But what he said was, when we didn't have him, we was wishing we had him back. And he is correct about that. Yeah, man. We be ready to throw somebody away fast, don't we? Boy, I tell you, we some. Us Steelers fans a trip. Let's see. Mr. ABS says, yeah, only if one of those cornerbacks fall. That would be our first time with a shot at the top 3 cornerback, which explains why we fail, at picking them. We never have chances at that type of talent at cornerback. Absolutely right. Who do y'all think are the top 3 corners right now? I'm just curious to get you guys' take. Really like that J.C. Horn kid a lot. Really like Farley a lot. After that, I've watched a few of these guys. I'm not sure who number 3 is. I'm curious to hear some of you guys' take. Even you, Kenyon, because I don't know if we talked about the top 3 corners. I know you told me to check out them boys from Georgia because they big and they play tough and they play press, so I still need to do that. Sippy Boy said, that's cool and all, Gotti, but he's not a starter over any of the top inside linebackers in the draft is my point. I like him too, but not more than I like those guys. Fair point. Yeah, top 3 in the draft. Fonz Forelli. I like that. Yeah, the top three corners in the draft, and we'll end with that. Oh, Surtain. What am I thinking? Yeah, Surtain. But I wonder if anybody else got anything else to say outside of that. Kenya says the same. Yeah, how did I forget him? Big dummy. How did I forget him? Yeah, I know. I see everybody saying it now. Yeah, I know. I'm dumb, right? Eric Stokes. Yep. I like Stokes. I wonder if anybody else, would anybody put Farley, Horn, and Surtain outside of their 3? Samuels Jr., yeah, I know all about him being a nose fan. I don't know if he's top 3. I do think, though, I think you can convert Asante into a slot. I think he can play both. I actually saw, and I mentioned this to Kenyon, and Kenyon was like, no, don't get your hopes up that he's going to be on the outside. I saw Horn played inside a lot, too. I saw him playing inside and out. So that's a skill. Cornerback from Northwestern. Vince Williams got let go for a reason. Pittsburgh sees Spillane as a starter. Don't believe that too much, John Gotti. Part of that as well was cap. Vince Williams was absolutely a cap casualty. But Sometimes when some guys are cap casualties, you do it because there's a guy behind them that you think can play up to their level or better. So, yep, part of what you said there, I go along with that. Tony Armstrong says, hung with James Pierre for Easter. I was pretty impressed with the kid. Okay. You know him? Or you know somebody that knows him? That's cool. That's cool. That's dope. What else y'all got? Finley is the best prospect. Farley. Yeah, Farley, bad boy. Farley got to locate that ball a little more for me, though, but he is bad. He is a bad boy. I really like J.C. Horn's press ability. I really liked seeing him up on the line. And just so you guys kind of know why that's always important to me, I feel like in today's NFL, when dudes just want to pass and run, you got to be able to have a corner that can get in somebody's chest when they need to. You don't have to do it all the time. You don't have to run man press. You don't have to run, press bail. You don't have to do all that all the time. You can still run zone and all that, but I need a guy. My preference, if I was building a team, I want my corners to be able to bump and run in a time of need. When it's 3rd and 7 and TJ Watt is on fire, his icon is lit up like he's in Madden or whatever, and he ready to eat. I need guys, at least one, that can get on that number one receiver, and I have trust that he can press him and slow him down about a second or so to make that ball have to come out a little faster and he's not open. I need that. I need that from my cornerback. So that's always a thing that I love to see, that guys are willing to do that quite often. Not saying that Farley can't do it, but in the film that I've watched, J.C. Horn, he's pressing all day. South Carolina, Rajon. Yeah, that boy is bad. And I believe, like Kenyon said, those boys in Georgia press too. So, I'm going to definitely take a look at that. Oh, Aaron Morris said chicken wings and mambo sauce. They don't know about that, man. You got to be from the area. You got to be from the area or at least live there or something to know that. I know that made Leonard smile, man. For you guys that don't know, Leonard is born and raised in Washington, D.C., man. And Tony knows all about that mambo sauce, too. And word of advice, if you go somewhere and you ask for mambo sauce, which you probably won't really get it so much if you're not in the DMV area, particularly the real DMV, not way out Virginia, not way out Maryland. The real people know what the DMV is. If it's bright red, that ain't mambo sauce. That's all I'm saying. Don't believe the hype. But all right, man, a few more minutes and then we're gonna wrap up. Sly Red said 3-piece wings and mambo sauce was all he ate in his high school days in D.C. That's what it is, man. I got introduced to it, because I'm originally from Richmond, man. I'm originally from Richmond, Virginia, and I got introduced to it. I have a cousin, that basically grew up in D.C., lived in Arlington, but he did all his business in D.C. I got introduced to it, and I was like, yo, this is crazy. And some people will never know, right? Is it a ranch and hot sauce kind of deal? Nah. I don't even know how to describe it. But all I'm saying is if you're ever somewhere that say they serve it, excuse me, and they give it to you and it's red, that ain't it. Because some places would try to pass off sweet and sour sauce. That ain't it. It's got to be like that burgundy-ish color. That's the real mumbo. look, Slid Red laughing at y'all. Slide Red laughing. Yeah, man. Kenya said he has no idea. Yeah, Ken, you a LA guy, man. But I know what you do know about out there in LA, them fish tacos, though. Talk about it. But all right, man, let me read a few more comments and we'll get out of here. Hey, I'll stay on till 9 o'clock. We got about 3 minutes. Then we'll get up out of here. Yeah, Slide. You just got to be in decent. Am I saying your name right, man? Is it Slide Red or is it supposed to be Slide Rod? Like, make sure I'm pronouncing that correctly, because I feel stupid every time I read it. Leonard Green said he in Charlottesville. Yeah, man. So y'all see this? See this scar right here? That happened to me in Charlottesville. Charlottesville, man. Wild scene, man. We went to a party out there, man, and it was wild. It was a fight broke out in the club. Somebody threw a bottle, hit me in the eye. It's crazy. Still had a great time that night, though. Needless to say. Yeah, can you know what time it is, man? Boy, what? If y'all ever in LA, man, get you a fish taco. I don't even think it matters where you get it from. And Roscoe's all day. All day, all day, all day. Homie. ABS, you from Church Hill, fam? Wow. Let me tell you something, man. My cousin and, yeah, great aunt, I guess you would call it. My grandma's sister and my cousin. Me and him, you know, tight. Right? Unfortunately, he passed some years ago, man. But Fairfield Court. That's where he's from. He's from Fairfield. So I used to be out there all the time, you know, right off of Creighton. Man, you got me homesick. My man said y'all, you see, Churchill, man. And it's funny, man. I'll say this really quick too, man. And I know we just talking here, guys, but this is what we do. We family, right? We done with the Steelers stuff, and we talking for the last minute or so. It's a different Churchill now, ain't it? Last time I was in Richmond, man, it was a while back, but I drove around, you know, and like where the precinct used to be on, I think, what's that, on 25th? And I see grocery stores with apartments on. Yo, bruh, what they doing around that part? You know, the courts are still the courts, but that part, that ain't the Churchill I remember. Yeah, that's what they call gentrification. Zawami said they from New Jersey. All they know is Crown Fried Chicken. I know the name. I'm familiar with the name. Never been there, though. You know, I had a lot of family in New York, too. So, you know, Jersey, New York. Not so much Jersey, but I'm New York. Been in a lot of different areas in New York. Your father grew up in Fairfield Court. My parents still on 30. Wow, that's crazy, man. You my brother for real, bro. 804 in the building. Yeah, let me just let y'all know, man. At one time, and it might still be like that, Churchill was about that life, bro. They was about that life in them courts. And it's crazy because people that grew up in Fairfield Court, you know, they would always beef with like Creighton and Mosby, and it's like they right there in the middle of them is nuts. Nuts, man. But anyway, guys, let me get back and one more Steelers thing, and then we'll get out of here. Yeah, it definitely ain't what we grew up to. Nah, Churchill. I mean, let's just say people be out there walking their dogs nice and unbothered over them parts. Like you said, like 30th, 25th, and 24th, 23rd Street, like unbothered, bro. They just out there happy. That ain't Churchill, my man. Oh, yeah, no question. Best foods are in the hood, man, no question. But all right, man, I think we had enough fun out here tonight, man. We'll go ahead and get out of here, man. So, again, guys, if you haven't already, please do this, man. Subscribe if you like what you saw, but definitely hit the like button if you like what you saw. That helps me tremendously. Hit that like button, man. Help me grow so we can make this thing bigger than life and stop listening to all of them crazy pundits. This be our thing, you know, from the average fan's perspective, where we can talk real talk. None of that made up, fabricated stuff. You know, we talk from our hearts. And I think that's what makes this particular show special. But anyway, next week, my good brother Kenyon, fellow Aries, his birthday is on the 13th. Mine is on the 15th. So next week, I think that falls on what? The 13th. I think Tuesday is his birthday. Yeah, because Friday is the 9th, right? Monday would be the 12th. Bam. So we're going to have an Aries still table. Tony, of course, is welcome. But we'll have another still table discussion as Kenyon and myself celebrate our birthdays. And then a week after that, the 20th, this is what we're proposing. The 20th is when we'll have the ladies of Steeler Nation. It will be Miss Debbie, Miss Lanisha, Miss Destiny, and anyone else. Sade, Odessa, if you hear this, or any other female of the chat, let me know. What I need you to do is send me an email to SimFBallCritic@gmail.com. Probably tonight, Debbie and Lanisha and Destiny, I will send you guys a quick email a little bit later tonight. You know, as long as I remember, I will. Send y'all the email, say, hey, just want to make sure all of y'all got each other's email. Y'all chop it up. And then when the other ladies hit me up, I'll throw those emails y'all's way as well. So all of y'all can communicate, and y'all will be dictating the show on the 20th. If y'all want to get together and y'all already have a plan on what y'all want to talk about, just tell me the topics, and that's what it will be. If not, I will find things to talk about with you guys, but I'll really just be sitting in the back. I'll be nothing more than just the host. I want the ladies to get theirs
60
off.
seconds.
So there you have it, and there's Blog Talk kicking us off. But anyway, guys, appreciate everyone, man. Hope you all have a great night. Stay blessed, stay safe, and thank you for tuning in to Terrible Towel Tuesday. Catch you next week. Peace.